Acharya Prashant has taken on the solemn project of bringing the essence of Vedanta to the world today. Acharya Prashant's movement has touched lives of millions of individuals, so it's indeed an honor for us to have you with us, Acharya Prashant ji.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I'm Ashna Mahmood. Sir, I have noticed as soon as I introduce myself as Ashna Mahmood, I notice a slight change in the expression of a person I'm speaking with, even in corporate sector too. And many a times I get the comments like, who do you support, India or Pakistan? Yesterday, my senior commented on me that you'll be Miss Pakistan. I just asked her, why not Miss India? She said, she didn't give me the reply, but it just hit me very badly. And earlier, it doesn't bother me that much, but as I'm growing, I'm noticing this, especially in college, that especially as I'm growing, I notice this a lot, that I'm getting comments about my religion or something like this. So, and my question to you is, how to get out of this mentality? As a youth, it just surprises me that we are still living in a world where we are biasing people according to their religion. So my question to you is, sir, that is it my over-analyzing, or is it even valid, or how to get out of this mentality, especially for me?
Ashna, you said.
Yes, sir.
Sit, Ashna. See, there is no need to make others' problem your own. What is the problem that the others are facing? You need to understand where they are coming from, and therefore the problem that they face. They think that just like Pakistan, India too is a theocratic country. They believe that the country was partitioned and two states were created, and one of them was declared to be Islamic. So other one, naturally, is the Hindu counterpart of the neighboring country. No, not that way. We have to understand. And I'm not merely talking of secularism here. India, the country, adopted secularism very late. 1947, 1948, 1950. These are three important years when it comes to independence, adopting the constitution, and declaring it herself a republic. India was not secular even till 1950. It took more than 2 decades after 1950 for the word secular to enter the constitution. So it's not as if the Indian constitution is founded on secularism. Indian constitution is founded on something far deeper than secularism. We are saying two things. India is not founded on religion as we use the word religion or as we understand the term religion. India is not founded on that. India is not founded, and this might surprise you a little, even on secularism. India is founded on something far, far deeper. The values underlying the constitution are actually spiritual. Are you getting it? And spirituality does not necessarily couple itself or align itself or identify itself with any religious stream. Getting it? So, India is a spiritual country. India is definitely not a Hindu country in the way the masses think of Hinduism these days. Not in that sense. However, if somebody illuminated from within is prepared to see that real Hinduism is actually just core spirituality, then probably you could call India as having Hindu foundations, and then you would be right. But those who throw jibes at you and ask you, oh, there was this India-Pakistan match, did you support India or Pakistan or things like that, they are definitely not Hindus of the spiritual kind. So they are not entitled to claim that India is a Hindu country of their kind. Is it getting too complex? Young people, you all, are you getting it? At the root of it all, there is ignorance regarding the basic nature of both Hinduism and India. This will be a little heavy, so you'll have to understand this. Hinduism is not what people seem to be practicing today, that too in an aggressive manner. That's not Hinduism. Especially over the last 10-20 years, a very rabid, very virulent version of Hinduism has surfaced. And that Hinduism claims that India belongs to itself. It does not. First of all, one has to understand what the Hindu religion is all about. Hindu religion is not about sloganeering on the roads, targeting this group or that group, throwing hate all around. No, that's not Hinduism, not at all. And all those people who do this, ask them, do you know anything about the central scriptures of your religion? And they will draw a blank. Now, what kind of Hindus are these? Who know neither Ved nor Vedant. Ask them about the Astic Indian darshans, and they'll stare at your face. But very proudly, they declare themselves to be Hindus. How exactly are you a Hindu? Forget about Nyaya and Vaisheshik. I ask you the fundamentals of the topmost Indian darshan, Vedant. And you will try to change the topic. You will say, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the Islamic threat to India. I'm asking you, sir, you are speaking as a Hindu. Please tell me something about the Brahma Sutras. And you don't know that. But you are very concerned about the Islamic threat. And we can talk about the Islamic threat as a separate topic that probably does deserve to be discussed. But right now, because all your discourse begins with the claim that you are a Hindu, let me first of all ascertain that you are indeed a Hindu. How are you a Hindu? How do you qualify to be a Hindu? Just because you are born in a Hindu family, so you qualify to be a Hindu? But you have no humility at all. Not only do you not see that you are not a Hindu in the first place, you want to impose your kind of ignorant version of Hinduism upon the entire country. That's what your entire attempt is. You are saying my Hinduism means the kind of culture I follow. And anybody who subscribes to this culture is a Hindu. How exactly? What culture do you follow? What are the roots of this culture? Where does it come from? Have you ever tried to understand, ever made any study? No, you have never done that. It's just that the tradition of the past 100 or 200 years has handed over a particular culture to you, and you think that culture is Hinduism. No, not at all. They, in fact, never even talk of Dharma. They keep talking of Sanskriti. Have you noticed? Because the moment they talk of Dharma, they'll be in trouble. And cultures vary across people. Usually the kind of culture that is touted in the name of Hinduism is the North Indian and Central Indian culture of the last 100, 200 years. That's all. As if culture by itself is sacred. No, it is not. Have you not read history? Not at all. Don't you remember Sati Pratha, Bal Vivah? Don't you? These used to be inalienable parts of your culture till not too long back. Don't you remember? How then culture itself can be sacred? Culture is a stream. It keeps changing, and it must keep changing. Whereas Dharma points towards the unchangeable. That's the difference. I was at another college yesterday, and they gifted me a book by Sri D.K. Karve. You remember his name? Coming from Maharashtra, you remember his name? You remember the kind of troubles he had to face just because he had himself married a widow? And he furthered the cause of widow remarriage? The kind of insult and abuse heaped on him? You remember all that? And I'm not talking of an event from the last millennium or something. I'm talking of a relatively recent event. These are not medieval personalities. Keshav Chandra Sen, D.K. Karve, Raja Ram Mohan Roy. You remember their names? But we think that if we are following a certain culture and we have made no special effort in following that culture has just come to us by way of legacy. You are born in the Hindu family, so you have to celebrate Diwali. Or did you have to learn to celebrate Diwali? Born in a Hindu family, you have a particular food habit. You know of Raksha Bandhan and Holi. And you start thinking that somebody who celebrates Holi and Diwali is automatically a Hindu. How is it possible? Someone asks you, who is a Hindu? How will you reply? Please tell me. You are all bright people. Let's say you are placed in the US and somebody asks you, who is a Hindu? It's a genuine question, right? A foreigner asks you, who is a Hindu? What would be your response? You'll say somebody who celebrates Holi and Diwali is a Hindu? Who is a Hindu then? We don't know. And we don't even want to know. There is a good, definite and wonderful answer. An answer you can be proud of. But we don't want to learn into that answer because that requires effort. Our Hinduism then remains very shallow, and it's a thing of shame. Our Hinduism then remains about cheering in the cricket match or abusing people from other streams, labeling certain sections as aliens. Who is a Hindu? Christians have Bible. Sikhs have the Guru Granth Sahib. Buddhists have the Dhammapad and the Sutra. Pitak. Muslims, of course, have the Quran. What have you read? Please raise your hands. How many of you have read the Vedas? Okay, out of the 4, any single one? Not one hand in an audience of over 200, I suppose. And then we want to ashame others. Just your surname cannot make you a Hindu. Being a Hindu is a tremendous thing. It requires some effort, some study, some sacrifice. Are you making that study? Are you making that sacrifice? And the Vedas by themselves are very voluminous. Thousands of verses. Compared to them, the Gyan Kand, the part that contains philosophy, that is Vedant, is very light. How many of us have read even a few Upanishads? See. But we are always ready to bash Pakistan and Islam and Christians, and we think that's what Hinduism is about. Obviously, if a country is hostile towards us, we will respond. And we have the armed forces for that, and we are proud of our armed forces, right? But does Hinduism have to be only about hating Pakistan? I'm asking you. And because you don't know Hinduism, you start equating Indian Muslims with Pakistani citizens. Is that fair? I'm asking you, please. What kind of shameful nonsense is this? And obviously, I'm not saying just to you. I know there are these 5 cameras around, they are recording me. I want this message to reach far and wide. What do you want to do with these 20 crore fellow citizens of yours? Dump them all in the Arabian Sea? Can you do that? Do you want to do that? Why do you want to create needless acrimony? If you have to live with Muslims in the country, why can't you live peacefully? And you will rise and say, but sir, it's the Muslims who create all the trouble. If Muslims create all the trouble, we'll deal with that. We have a law and order system. We have the police for that. But why must you, as normal citizens, cultivate hatred? This girl here, she's your batchmate, right? Or is she some kind of criminal, culprit, offender? Why does she have to go through a harrowing experience just because of her surname? What do we get from there? Let's please think logically. What do we get by harassing fellow Muslims? Obviously, that does not mean we will allow someone to harass us. If someone harasses us, we will respond. And we have the wherewithal for that, right? We are not weak and we are not cowards. If someone attacks us from outside or from within, we will deal with that. But is it not a mark of courage and bravery to not harass the weak. If you have a group of 10, is it a mark of bravery to target one or two people? Yes? Will you feel proud of this? We ganged up as 10 people and attacked a group of 2. Is this a thing of pride or shame? However, if those 2 are indeed mischief makers, if those 2 are attacking us, if those 2 are carrying weapons, we will deal with that. But please tell me, is this girl here carrying weapons? Then why is an ordinary citizen being subjected to torture? Sri Krishna lays it out beautifully and with great clarity. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 11th verse. I, that is the truth, that is the fundamental law of existence, will respond to you exactly in the way you look at me. And that should be the rule of thumb. If someone is a troublemaker, no mercy, no leniency, and that's very, very justified. Right? If you are creating trouble, we will deal with you ruthlessly, and that's okay. But Sri Krishna also says that if you are fair and fine, then I respond to you in a fair and fine way. Will you feel proud to be called residents of a country that oppresses its minorities? Will you feel proud? I am not talking about appeasement. I hope that is clear. I am not talking about giving unfair advantage to any little group of people. I am saying don't give anybody unfair advantage. There is no need to appease anybody. But it is also not proper, not spiritual, not dharmic, not right, not justified to unfairly target innocent people. Is there something called innocence or not? Remember, the values in India's constitution are all very, very spiritual. And spiritual means sublime, very high, highest values. We should be proud of those values. In fact, when the audience is a little more mature, I love to propose, rather assert, that the Indian Constitution is founded on Vedantic values. If you want to call yourself a Hindu, be a Vedanti. Then you will be Sanatani in the truest sense of the word. There's a difference between being a Hindu and being a Sanatani. If you just follow the Hindu rituals and customs and culture, you can be called a Hindu. Without reading anything, without knowing anything, you can still be a Hindu. Why? Because your father is a Hindu, your mother is a Hindu, so you become a Hindu. But Sanatani is a great qualification, like a BTech, MTech or PhD. You have to earn it. Being a Sanatani is no small deal. To be a Sanatani, you have to rigorously study your scriptures and you have to live by them. You have to make Vedanta your life. And a Sanatani is a brave person. A Sanatani is a protector, not a destroyer. A Sanatani takes pride in fighting 10 oppressors all alone. He vibes with the spirit of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, सवा लख से एक लड़ाऊं. You remember that? I'm all alone. And in front of me is an army of 1,00,000, more than 1,00,000, 1,25,000 oppressors. I'll fight them all alone. That's the Sanatani spirit. The Sanatani spirit is not about ganging up and pulverizing those who are fewer in number. Know your Sanatan Dharma. Live the Sanatan mark deeply. Be kind, be loving, be just, be fair. Be brave, be strong. That's the message of Vedanta. Am I making sense? Or are you internally disconnected or opposing me? Is all this making sense to you, please? Because we are living in very strange times. India has not witnessed these times ever since independence. Have I been able to somewhat answer your question? Huh? It is their problem. You should not feel hurt. It is their problem. They do not know their religion. Huh? Ashna. Those who talk of Hinduism in this way, they themselves do not know what Hinduism is.
So my question to you was again that how I should learn to move out of this. I don't mind them telling me, but I just want to grow my mentality out of this.
Simply say, he will only utter stuff according to his own intellectual and spiritual level. It's his problem that he is at a low level. And I cannot make his problem my own. I'm not obliged to make his problem mine. Full stop. And don't think that all Hindus belong to that category, that quality. Right? May you meet great Sanatanis, and then your impression of people will change. But I very well know that most people belong to that lowly category, and you will meet lots of them in the future also. We are living in very awkward times. When you meet them, ignore them. And just pray for them. Just pray for them. May they rise from their lowly intellectual level. That's all.
Thank you, sir.